Perfect. Recording is on. Hello, everyone. Hi, Elena. My name is Anna Ostrogliad, and I'm a holistic nutritional consultant and wellness coach. And I'm super excited for you guys to join me today for this whole family plant-based event. The idea for this event came to me when COVID-19 kind of came to our lives, and I thought, what can I do that can be helpful and meaningful in terms of health and well-being for you guys, and that can help you to stay healthy and happy beyond the crisis. So that's how I came up with ideas of sharing interviews, talks, events with you, and introducing amazing speakers with you. Today we are having my wonderful friend, a mother of two beautiful children, a wife, and a creator of online show Supercharged Plant-Based Lifestyle, Valeria Popov. Hi, Valeria.
Hi, Anya. I'm so excited that you made an offer for me to talk. I would love to support anyone.
Yes, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. I know how busy you are these days, but I really appreciate you being here with us today. Before we begin, I just want to give people a few more minutes to join us. I want to say that we're having this interview in a form of webinar. This means that everybody is muted. But I encourage you guys to ask questions as we go or at the end of the interview by putting them in a chat box or simply tapping raise your hand option. I'm gonna unmute you and you will be able to ask question yourself. And we are recording this event, and if you need to hop off a little bit earlier, don't worry. I'm gonna send you the recording later today on your email box. So I think we can begin now. So Valeria, I really like to start the conversation with the very beginning, very beginning. When and why your whole food plant-based transition started?
Yes, thank you. So when and why? My transition happened almost 3 years ago when I was pregnant with my last child. I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. And my doctor, like my insulin, so I was shooting insulin at night. And my dose kept growing. And I realized that my doctor is not able to, do anything for me besides just upper my insulin level. So at that point, I was in Lean Clean support group, and I was not vegan, vegetarian, or anything of that. I've been in that group for around a year at that point, and I was reading. I was not participating because I was not plant-based, but it was interesting for me, and I started to educate myself a little bit about it inside of the group because girls were posting like articles and research. So I read some of it, and I read about curing diabetes with plant-based diet. So when that happened in my life, gestational diabetes happened, and nothing worked, I was scared for myself, for my child, for delivery and health and all of that. So I decided to go with it, and that's when and how it started.
That's amazing, and that's kind of a scary thing. You agree? I agree with you. Like having taken this responsibility for your health is one thing, but for unborn child is a completely different type of pressure, right? Was it challenging at all to switch from traditional eating habits to the whole food plant-based lifestyle?
It was challenging because it was scary. I wasn't sure if it's gonna work for me, and I was scared because of a situation. Like I was pregnant, like it's sensitive. But I gave it a try anyway. And I mean, in 1 week, my insulin level, my blood sugar normalized. And in 2 weeks, I was off insulin. So for me, 1 week was not challenging. I mean, it was something very new to me. But when I saw the result, it stopped being challenging because
Yes.
I was thriving for it. I was like, yes, that's what it is. That's the cure for me. It's so, yeah.
Valeria, I want to just ask a little bit more on that topic. So how was your doctor reacting to you just switching so drastically, first of all? And second of all, when you just began, did you have any those thoughts of there is belief that, you know, pregnant woman needs to eat meat and fish and eggs and everything? Were you scared at all just to eliminate those foods from your diet, even for a week?
And yes and no. Yes, because it was scary because, I mean, at this point, as I said, like in Lean and Clean, I was reading those articles. It's like a scientific proven information, but still, when you trying it yourself first, you don't really like understand, is it gonna work for me? Am I going to hurt myself? And as you said, like, yeah, so we need omega-3 from fish, we need protein from meat. So it was scary, but at the same time, it was exciting when I saw the results.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can totally imagine that. So what things help you to stay on this path? As you said, 1 week was exciting, then it was easier because you simply saw the great results. But how about cravings? How about pressure from others, maybe from family members, from your doctors? What helped you to stay in this path for the past 3 years?
So what helped me, really helped me, I mean, I had multiple things, like educating myself, first of all, going deeper into it and reading all the great books that surround us in the whole food plant-based world, having this information from a proven sources. That's one of the things. It's a big thing to understand why and how. And then the support from at some point. So I think I went vegan during the pregnancy, and then when I delivered, probably 3 months into, I went into the support group when I again transformed my eating habits by eliminating like oil, salt, sugar, flour, alcohol, all of that stuff. And that the community support is very important. That's how you keep going and share with people your challenges. And a lot of the times people have answers. So having a health coach really helps us to stay focused. And even if we go off track, but being vulnerable enough to share, let your coach know. The coach will absolutely help you to go back on.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, the support is something that sometimes even more powerful than our own motivation, right? Because our motivation can go up and down, depends on different events. That's amazing. That's great. I also wanted to see how I'm just wondering how your doctor reacted to the change. Was he or she supportive at all?
So my doctor, well, as you know, like if you ever had a gestational diabetes, God forbid you'll ever have it during the pregnancy, but the process, what happens, you basically have a diary of food that you eat, and then after each meal, you poke your finger, you measure your blood sugar level, and you record everything, and then once a week you send it to your doctor. My doctor, in the beginning, with that first week that I was logging my food and sharing how it works for me, she was very, I mean, she was like, yeah, keep doing whatever you're doing. And then the next week, at the end of the next week, I wrote her like, I'm not going to shoot an insulin anymore. And that's where it got challenging, because she actually wanted me to shoot insulin. And I was like, are you out of your mind, lady? Are you seriously out of your mind? And I can tell you that insulin is expensive. I mean, we have a very good coverage, but for this little like bottle of insulin that it lasts me for 3 weeks, my copay was $100. I can't even imagine for people who shoot insulin after each meal how expensive it is for them. So that was my doctor's response. So keep shooting insulin. I was like, no, I'm sorry, lady, I'm not doing it.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just wonder why she depends on your results, why she decided to give you, maybe just because of the conventional methods of treating diabetes that way. So it's just probably scary to go off it because you don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just, surprised that she saw your results and didn't act accordingly. Well, that's by the way, that brings me to my next question is, Valeria, how difficult it is nowadays to find a doctor who would support you in moving to whole food plant-based lifestyle and just being okay with it and supporting you and understanding your needs and your reasons to do so.
Well, I would say that finding a doctor, plant-based doctor in your area. I haven't found a doctor. I mean, we don't get sick, so we don't really go to the doctors unless it's a checkup, and it's nothing. I mean, my kids are flourishing, like I'm great, so we don't really go to the doctor. But when when I had this urge to see a doctor, I couldn't find plant-based doctors that are close to me. I know that you can. There are plant-based doctors that you can, there's searches. The one thing that I'm very excited for, there is a website, a new platform created by Anthony Masiello. It's the plantbasedtelehealth.com, and it's a very new, it's only 1 month old, 1 month old baby.
Right.
And it's amazing that you can sign up for it and then you can see plant-based doctors online. So basically it's a Zoom call. You're gonna receive a questionnaire where you're gonna put all your medical history and everything in there. You send them, and then they review it and they go for the appointments. It's like a Zoom appointment. And then whatever they feel like, if they need to take your blood for a test, they will just send it to a nearby hospital that it's nearby you. So you go, you do like whatever they require, and then the lab sends it to them. And so that's very exciting for me, that you don't need to go anywhere or anything like that. And it's very convenient, and it's something very new that I discovered a couple of weeks ago. Also very interesting that they have live Q&A sessions every week, and it's free, and they're like the panel of doctors that are on it, and you just type your questions, any details that you want to, like, and they just giving you the answers. So that's pretty cool. So that's my answer.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh, this service is like a piece of gold. That's amazing. We definitely, we have a question. We're definitely gonna put it, the name, a little bit when we're done with the talk, and I'm gonna also add it to the email when I send the recording, so you guys have it handy. To me, it's amazing how whole food plant-based community is just empowers people and being so generous with their knowledge and with their time. It's really beautiful. I feel like to me, there is no any hidden agenda behind it, but health and wellness and, happiness. And I think it's one of the reasons why I love this community so much as well. Great news. Thank you very much for sharing with us. I didn't know that. That's something new I learned as well. I can't wait to check it out. So Valeria, you mentioned there are a lot of medical researches and websites behind whole food plant-based lifestyle that's supported from a science standpoint. Can you name us a few, maybe your favorite books on the topic, or maybe another website or something that people can just go into and read the information they need?
Absolutely, that's a great question. There are a lot of books. I'm gonna name my three favorite ones. It's China Study, Becoming Vegan, and Pleasure Trap.
That's a great one.
So those three are amazing. I should have it with me so I can show it, but we can put it in the chat so you guys can see. So Becoming Vegan by Brenda, I think it's Brenda Bernard or something. So this book is it's like overview without like very hard science, you know what I mean? The science always on the background, but it's a very good overview. Why, how, what do we need, what do we don't need, why, and all of that stuff. And what I else like, because they have a very good section for kids. So that's something that really helped me with my kids. And still sometimes when I have like any kind of challenges or something like that, so I go back to that book. China Study, it's a hardcore science. So if you're a person who needs this science to go through a transformation, need this backup knowledge, that's what it is. It's amazing. And then the oh my God, the Pleasure Trap. The Pleasure Trap, it actually explains you why are we choosing the food that we're choosing. The evolution of us, our DNA, and how we evolved, and also how our DNA is it kind of wants to be back in the Stone Age. That's what our DNA is from. But now we're not in the Stone Age, and everything is available. So it's basically telling us that, we are designed to want a very high calorically dense food, just because when we're in the Stone Age, we had no really access to those foods. So, and if we will find something, we'll binge on it, because next time it could be 6 months. It could be like nuts, for example. So nuts, they're only seasonal, basically. If there's a season, people eat it. Used to. Now it's here you go. You go to the store and it's everywhere. So it's with everything. So this book kind of explains you how right now, our DNA is not playing in our favor, and how do we actually, in order to be healthy, how do we, go sideways. Right. So that one. And then the websites, Forks Over Knives, it's a great one. Great recipes, very good community actually too. Very supportive. You'll see a lot of transformation. So if you're the person who visual, that's a great one. So you'll see those crazy transformations that people go through, and lots of support there too. Also, the nutritionalfacts.org. So that's where you're gonna find all the research. so how the website built, it's been made by Dr. Greger, and what this person does, that he takes all the research, the new research and the old research come, and he filters it and puts it to the test. And that's amazing. So yeah, that's like a solid science. That's something that I go for. I mean, there are so many websites, but like, I mean, you can check it out, like the plant checks and all of that stuff. But then, I mean, after some time, you kind of like rely on something that is more like not basic, but something that you know that you're going to find the answers for.
Right, right. You just pick a few that works for you the best. Since I already started putting some names into the chat, so the name of that wonderful new option, is it a plant-based telehealth or?
Yes, telehealth.
Okay. I'm gonna just put it right here so people can see it, and I'm gonna add it to the email as well. Perfect. Well, it's a great amount of books and websites to start with. Thank you for sharing with us. So then, Valeria, you mentioned that blood pressure normalized, and I assume you had a healthy delivery of the baby and you look amazing. What are the personal transformations you can share with us, and why you are sticking to whole food plant-based lifestyle for your personal health and wellness?
Yes, what a great question. So as you mentioned, like I was done with gestational diabetes, done with pregnancy, everything was healthy. I mean, everything was great, and my baby was healthy, I was healthy. I lost all my weight in like 3 months. I mean, I was vegan, but still having like oils, salt, sugar till my baby was like 3 months. So I kept that like last 10, 15 pounds on. I was looking great, but I, like how girls, they want to kind of,
Right.
go a little leaner and all of that stuff. And I just couldn't. And so when I switched to surface free, like it's basically got off me in like a month and a half. So I look great. And when you look great, it's like you start to be much more positive. You love yourself. There is no negativity. My allergies went away. Like I was on meds for like 10 years. And if I would skip one pill, like one day, I will go like hives all over me. And I was like crazy. So allergies went away, skin cleared up. Mind, it's a lot of like that we don't realize, like the fog in our mind, and it's like being like I don't know like how about you, but sometimes when I remember from the past that I would go in the kitchen with intention to do something, and then I would do 10 million things, but I would never do that thing, and I will actually forget what it was, why am I here. So it's always like this, a brain fog was going on. So there's like not that much focus. So, and as we know, our microbiome and our brain, they connected basically. So when you heal your microbiome, your brain starts to work really, really good. And when your brain starts to work really, really good, you start to have good ideas.
I love it.
You start to have fun in your life, and you start to look for self-improvement, self-development. So during that time of clearing my mind and all of that stuff, I went through a very interesting transformational program when I dealt with a lot of things that was inside me and wasn't me. And that's how after that, I understood like what I got, like, when you get all these beautiful results by changing your food, I realized that I kept it to myself. I kept it to myself without really sharing. I mean, we were sharing inside of the group. But then after going through a transformation, you start being more generous. So, and now I really, really want to share. I want that result for as many people as I could reach. So yeah, so and I decided to actually go and start helping people.
Right, right. Yeah, so inspire others to share your story, inspire others. Um, that's amazing. It's wonderful. I like how you created the connection between microbiome and our brain health. I used to go to the store and I would forget that one specific item that I wanted to buy. And I would buy a bunch of stuff and would definitely forget something that I came for. So I totally can relate to that. And since we are, talking about you sharing with others and motivating others, inspiring, how about your own family? Are your children whole food plant-based as well?
Yes, my children are whole food plant-based. My son, actually, he became plant-based even before me. He was never fond of meat, and at some point he just decided not to, and I never pressed my kids to do anything. Dairy for him was kind of like the thing that it was like a borderline. But then when I realized that that's not good for him or anyone,
Right.
I eliminated him, and it wasn't hard at all. So both of my kids are vegan. My daughter is vegan from birth.
Right.
um, my husband is not vegan. When he is home, he is, because we don't have any animal products at home. But when he goes out, he can. I mean, there is no judgment. Everyone in my household doing what they want to do. Not kids, though.
Okay.
I'm a strong believer that being a loving alpha for your family, for your kids, it's what they need. And that's, as a parent, that's what we are. That's why we're here for them. It's to set the limits, loving limits.
Right.
So, I mean, while they're still here in my house, they're going to eat plant-based, they're going to eat healthy. When they go out in the world, it's their choice. But what I know from actually the Becoming Vegan book, that if your child is plant-based, eating healthy, from birth to at least 15, 16 years, you give your child a great start. So it is basically, that's where all our DNA starts to well, you don't want to damage your DNA in that window of age. So if you do, then it all kind of like goes into later on problems with health, like when you become after 40, and then it all starts to actually show there, because lots of people think that, I'm like 25, I'm 35, and I'm healthy, and I'm eating all of that stuff, and I feel good. And I was like, yeah, but how much longer are you going to be
Until
healthy?
until someday.
Until someday,
Yeah.
it's not going to be okay. So for me, so my kids are vegan, and there is no choice. And actually, it's not hard at all for me and for them.
So that's interesting. I want to just tap into a few topics here that you mentioned, that your husband is not vegan, but when he's at home, he's plant-based. And I feel like right now, since he's at home a lot, this is a perfect transition to just being plant-based kind of on a regular basis. So sometimes I hear a lot that, and I do agree that COVID-19 put us in some very specific situation where a lot of people, communities, countries struggle, and my heart goes to them. But there is another side to it when we sometimes do not see, we just focus on the bad things only, which is easier because we're all stressed. But sometimes focusing on good things can be very beneficial. And your husband being at home and just, having 3 meals a day at home that are plant-based, probably a good thing these days for you guys. And in regards of your children, so you said lovingly, being alpha, lovingly, just giving them an idea and establishing the rules of eating specific foods at home. Do you face any, let's say, problems in terms of, mom, I don't want this, I want something else. Some friends ate in front of me something that you usually guys do not have at home, maybe ice cream, or I don't know, chicken nuggets, something else. If you do, how do you deal with situations like this?
So yes, of course I get that. My son goes to play-based preschool. Well, not right now, but
Used to.
and you know, he never actually mentioned anything about it, but I get the vibe from him. I think he'd been asked about, not probably being asked about his lunch, because kids don't really, but he sees other kids eating something, but he never tried it. So he doesn't even know what it is.
Right.
So it's one thing. So maybe he is not old enough, but I would imagine even if he will, actually he started to talk about meat. And it's very interesting. He's like he's trying to discover what it is, why it is. I think, so he was asking me about meat, and then it's like, I don't want to be plant-based anymore. I'm like, okay, so what do you want to eat then? And he's like, I want to eat meat. I was like, okay, have you ever tried meat? He's like, well, he tried, but he was like so small, he doesn't remember. He's like, no. I'm like, okay. So how do you think that meats come to your plate, like to people's plate? Is like, you just buy it in the store. I'm like, okay. So how do you think the store gets it? So you get the gist. So basically go to the point, and he loves animals. He loves all the animals. You go to the point when, well, to get meat, you get to kill the chicken, kill whatever. Do you really think that you can do it? And that's he starts like, laugh, and I was like, of course you can't do it. Like, right. And for me in our household, like, we do not divide animals for like home animals or, our farm animals. There is no division. And I would say like, hey, like, your grandma has a cat. Would you go and kill a cat and eat her? It's like, no. It's like that. But like another things, like maybe like this junk food that some parents give their kids, and my kids starts to want it. I mean, you can go different ways with that. Like, if you're not strictly whole food plant-based, if you're just vegan, there are so many substitutes for chicken nuggets nowadays, for cheese, for yogurt, for anything. You can get anything in the store. If your thing is just to stop eating, like being actually vegan, ethical, to just go for animals, and you can substitute. If you don't, the younger the child, it's kind of like more of a struggle not to give something to the child. But again, if you're loving alpha, you know what's good for them. You don't want this fake chicken nuggets in your kid's body. Like you don't. You know that nothing good is going to happen for them. There is no any minerals or like any vitamins or anything in there. So it's like just calories basically.
Right.
So it's always your choice. Yes, and sometimes it gets, I don't want to say hard. It's a little challenge to let your kid to understand why and why not. And as I said, the younger the child, is kind of harder. But then the child grows, and you can start explaining. And don't keep this food at home.
Yes, I agree with you.
Don't keep this food at home, and that's it. Yep. We don't have it, like, especially now, it's so easy. It's so easy not to, because we don't go to the store with the little children anymore, right? So you do online, or you go by yourself. And if the child demands it, it's like, well, it wasn't in the store. It's a perfect transitional time right now for your family. Right. Like, it wasn't available. I'm sorry. That's all I have. That's your option.
Right. Yeah, so what I hear you saying is conversations, talking, educating, not just saying, hard no, but actually talking to your kids and, explaining them why there's a decision behind what is the decision behind that no. And Valeria, what's your children, I just wonder, like for me, plant-based, I have a plant-based child as well, and as any other child, she's different, and I just wonder, what's your kids' favorite foods? Like, what are you proud to share with us? Is there any specific green yummies or any other foods that they prefer more than others?
Yes, so my kids are typical DNA kids. So if you'll put in front of them a vegan cookie, which would be gluten-free, would be like, and broccoli, of course, they're gonna choose cookie. So, and that's how we are. So that's why I don't do that. If you'll ask me what my kids will pick from my choice of giving them, because if I would put anything, they will get something that is sugary or something sweet, and even though there's no sugar in there, it's like dates or raisins, but they're gonna go for it because it's more calorically packed. But if they love fruits and vegetables, they love fruits, they eat a lot of fruits every day, vegetables. How I like, well, sometimes, it goes through waves. Sometimes they like broccoli, sometimes they don't. And when they don't, what I would do, I would take a bowl of broccoli, a big one, and then I will whip my own like homemade hummus and sit with them at the table, and they're eating and I'm eating, and it's like at some point I would see this little hand like going, broccoli, because like you're eating it. So it's basically setting an example for the child, and the children, they actually do want to make healthy choices. So it's easier. So my kids, I would say they're different. I think it's like different types of fruits that they like, but my daughter can definitely take like a big piece of kale and just chew on it, and actually made a video and put it in my support group.
I saw that video. It's so funny and so cute. Oh my god.
So like she can just do it, or I will like eating my broccoli and whatever it is, she'll come and she'll eat it. But yeah, I mean, they eat vegetables.
She got used to plant-based when she was still in your belly, so I guess that's
I mean, they like well, I do have some like junk vegan in the house. I don't eat it personally, but we have like some cheese and stuff like that. I mean, they'll ask for it, but not that much. And as today, we went gluten-free because I noticed that my daughter's eczema starts to flare up, and like in a very weird way. Sometimes she'll have like a piece of bread that I buy for my husband, and it has gluten in there. And I would notice on her body, like she'll start like itching and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? And actually, it was great that yesterday I was at the session of a Q&A session of the plant-based telehealth. And I was asking doctors about it. I was like, I have a plant-based child, and she has this eczema. And that's what they told me, like, eliminate the junk, and go gluten-free. And I was like, okay, done.
Right. I mean, no problem, right? Not the first time.
Done. So we'll see how challenging is that going to be. But I guess it's not going to be challenging because we're going in this situation right now. I would say it wasn't in the store. I'm sorry. Wasn't available. Here's like what you can have instead here.
Right.
That's
right.
it.
So another thing I'm noting here is for myself is setting an example, right? Setting an example and just eating something in front of them, and having the face of person who enjoys the food just actually creates some kind of a need to try. Mama is eating it. I love mama. Mama is, my favorite person, or my dad is my favorite person, or my parents are favorite people in the whole world. If they like it, I get to try it.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect. And so you mentioned Valeria, going gluten-free, and because of the health, for the health reasons, how the overall health condition of your kids? Are they, you mentioned at the beginning that you guys do not go to see doctors, pretty much never ever. So I assume they are thriving and they're healthy on whole food plant-based lifestyle. But can you just give us a little bit more kind of insight on that?
Yes, they are thriving. They're beautiful, two kids. They never had any health issues besides just eczema or whatever it is. I mean, they do have sometimes like a little like virus or something like that. They'll probably will be sick. Well, not more than I would say 3 days. They'll run a high fever right in the beginning, which is a great sign. And I never touch the fever. Like the fever is there for us. And they're basically done in 3 days. And it's unavoidable. That's how we build our immune system and resistance to all the viruses. But then we don't have any cavities. They're strong, my son is very strong. Like he'll eat like, and it's not a trick how you can make your kids eat like broccoli, for example. How I trick him, it's basically there's broccoli on his plate and all of a sudden he's like, I don't want broccoli. I'm like, all right, so what's going to happen to your muscle? You know, he's a little macho, you know, like but after he'll eat all his broccoli, he'll come to me and he's like, Mom, touch it. I'm touching. It's a hard muscle there, you know, like he is very athletic, but he doesn't really do like sports. Well, not right now. He used to go to karate and football, like soccer and stuff like that, but not anymore. But he can do like 10 push-ups. I mean, he can do like, you know, it's like he's very strong. He's very strong. Like almost a 6-pack.
That's amazing.
And my baby girl, yeah, she's thriving. Everything's great. I mean, never had any issues. They're happy, very happy kids. They never get this like what. And another thing, what I remember, like going plant-based. I mean, you and I would know we eat big meals, big.
Right.
I remember in the past when I was not plant-based at all. After a meal, I would feel like tired and sleepy that I need to like lay down and like, you know, digest. And the whole food plant-based lifestyle, it doesn't happen. You actually, when you eat, you get so energized, and that's how it's supposed to be basically. And that's like what I notice kids, like, for example, like I volunteer in my son's school, and after lunch, I can see my kid after lunch is like running around and other kids are kind of like, they're getting lazy. They want to sit down. They want to read a book. They're like, whew, you know, like, so that's another thing that I see.
It creates energy. Yeah, it gives energy. That's amazing. That's what actually, I feel like that's what I see in my daughter as well. And I'm so grateful for that, because she's like, to me, she's really active and healthy. And when she was born as well as your daughter, plant-based. And I had this worry, a little worry, that what if it's not going to be enough for her to sustain, to be energetic, to, you know, to grow healthy and everything, for all the muscles, for brain to develop. So I had a little worry. And I want to ask you, Valeria, do you count calories? Do you follow any meal plans, like there needs to be a 1 cup of walnuts every day or anything else? Do you have any schedule, what they're supposed to eat during the day to stay healthy? Because there are a lot of talks about a specific amount of protein that needs to be you know, consumed during the day, or carbohydrates or fats in a traditional diet. And how about whole food plant-based?
Yes, that's a great question. Me as well, going plant-based was a concern, especially for my husband. And what I did, I educated myself. So basically educating yourself, it's the key here to to have a calm mind and just to go for it. Another thing is, no, I do not measure anything. I do not count anything. Our kids are very smart. They know what they want, what they need, and in what amount. So they're gonna eat as much as they want. I mean, don't force feed your kids. I mean, just don't, because it's abuse, and it creates a very negative connection and with food in the future. Just don't do that. It's a bad idea. But what I do in the morning, since I understand the importance of omega-3, the importance of calcium, the importance of vitamin B12, the importance of a lot of minerals that are the fat, for example, that they need, just to know it, they begin their day with the smoothie that I do for them. So it basically has everything that they need in that one meal. And even if your kids are not plant-based, just doing that in the morning, and then they can eat whatever they want, you're like putting that in there. So for me, that's all it is. The rest of the day, if they don't want to eat something, because I have like greens in there, and it tastes delicious, honestly, like delicious. My husband's like jokes that you need to like pack it and sell it, because like it has so much stuff in there, like flax seeds, has berries, greens, homemade yogurt, which looks so actually easy to make, soy yogurt, and then just has like avocado, and I like spray vitamin B12 in there, plant milk. So it's like packed. It's like packed with nutrients and vitamins and everything, and they love it. They eat it for breakfast, and yeah. So, but honestly, if you just let your kids to eat what they want and actually have in your house the important, I mean, not the important, but if you have in your house everything that is good for them and let them choose from what they want to eat, they'll be good. I mean, they'll choose their protein, they'll choose their berries, what they want, they choose their fruits, the veggies. They will kind of like create their own plan.
Love it.
Yeah, we're not on any plans here.
Love it. That sounds easy. That sounds easy. I really like it. And since we do not travel right now, yeah, we don't have this option. But traveling is another question that I had for you. We are kind of almost done here, but I have this question. Like, for me, traveling means break from cooking. Right? And traveling sometimes means it's a vacation. It means, well, I'm going to allow myself eat something that I usually do not eat. How easy it is to stay whole food plant-based while you travel, especially with children?
Yes. So it's a great question. So it's, I mean, it's not for me. And it's all about your mindset. So if you travel, now it's very usual that people go to Airbnbs. You can bring your, not the food. I mean, sometimes the food, it depends. It's like 1 or 2 nights and you're driving there, you bring your food. Or you still can go to the restaurants, but then you bring something with you. Like, for example, you want a salad, and then like you can ask for a potato, but then kids, you know, like you can ask for like to cut some vegetables for them, or there are items for kids that you can choose from. But then when you're like out and about, they can snack on something that is good for them, like something that has like for example, like, you know, I don't know, anything and everything that you usually feed them, but in the restaurant you can't access it. So they can eat a little bit in restaurant, and then when you're out and about, you can give them a snack of something that you brought with them. Also, like as I mentioned, Airbnb, you can bring your cookware and go to like a nearby grocery store and just cook something. just cook something like, the Instapot, the small ones, you can bring it to anywhere and everywhere. You can steam in there. You can make a soup. You can make a chili. You can do whatever you want to actually, and have like all your food there. If going to a restaurant is like something that is like, I can skip it. I'd rather like go and see the sightseeing or like whatever it is. So that's a great way. But yeah, like I would say just make it easy on yourself. I would say sometimes when we travel with kids, we'll let our kids to make, well, not really, but you can find like a burrito, like a bean and bean and rice burrito or steamed vegetables, and my kid's gonna eat it, like, put a little salsa on it. They'll good. So I never encountered any kind of like, I don't know, problems with that, So you can find a way, guys.
All right, sounds good. This chili and soup talk makes me feel hungry. Do you have any, can you share with us any favorite? I know you have. I know you're a very skillful cook. And I just wanted to share with you guys that, we're in this small community of people who, as community is not small, it's just a group, our kind of small, and we are sulfur free, no salt, no oil, no alcohol, no flour. And Valeria posts a lot of her creations, kitchen creations, and all of them look so good. And many of them are even created with no specific recipes, right? So you're just being creative there. So I wanted to ask you, can you share with us maybe a few recipes, or I don't know, a recipe of your family favorite food or snack?
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, I don't go into very complicated cooking. All my dishes look colorful because as we know, like eat a rainbow. And what excites me and my family is to have a variety. So I will do like a Buddha bowl or something like that. And for example, like have rice or quinoa or whatever, and then you're gonna have all kinds of different toppings on it, like mushrooms and tomatoes and asparagus, like anything that you want to put on it. And then you use a sauce. And it's actually very easy to play with the flavors. So you can have the same thing with a different sauce and it's going to taste different. So that's one thing, like being creative.
Right.
I make a soup. It's very easy to make. I make it in an Instapot. So it's like any veggies that you want in there. I use the strained tomato, no salt, like it's like concentrated tomato, like it's not the paste, it's not the juice. So it's like something in between. So I use that. I use some spices. That's it. I do, my kids I love lentils. So that's very easy to make, has lots of protein, which is great. Smoothie. We all love smoothies, so it's something very easy. It's mostly greens, not mostly, it's like 90% greens.
Right.
Then it has like, for kids, I'll do like some chia or flax seeds in there, some frozen fruit in there, ginger. I like it gingery, so kind of like a little kick in there. Turmeric. A little black pepper for turmeric, like really boosts it, and then water and just blend it, and it's delicious. It's really, really good. If you want something sweeter, I don't like it too sweet, but if you like more something sweeter, put more like frozen fruit in there. It's really good. What else do we cook? I mean, I don't really like, well, kids love oatmeal, so they'll do oatmeal with like fruits. Oh, they love, oh my God. That's the one. So I love the Japanese sweet potatoes. So when I bake it, so it's really, really nice and moist. So I put it in the food processor and then I squeeze like three, like it depends, like if it's like this big, the potato, I probably will squeeze like four to five limes in there, the juice, and then you blend it and it's out of this world. Like my kids will eat the whole thing. I can eat the whole thing. Like it's very satisfying. And if you think about it, that there's no kind of like nothing bad, and it's only good, and that's something, let me think. I don't know. I don't.
Two ingredients only. Two
ingredients. Yes. That's all.
Amazing. That's easy. Yeah. Sounds good. Maybe we can just put it on a, I think like put it on in a document and to send to the guys, to our viewers, with recording, to try something new. Why not? If you have like a photo of the dish itself, maybe we can include it too, and that would be awesome. I would love to try it. Is the Japanese potato is the one that is purple, or it's a yellow one? Which one is which?
The Japanese, it's purple on the outside, white on the inside. It's also called the murasaki, but usually it's Japanese sweet potatoes. Those are, yeah. Then they have like a very unique flavor. It's almost like rosy. It's sweet and creamy and has like tons of like I mean a little bit of like a flowery, like flour, something that very
it's like a mousse. It's like a mousse or some kind of dessert, right? It makes me feel hungry now.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Valeria, yeah, for sharing. I see, do we have any questions, guys? Probably we are really good at covering the topic. I'm really glad we did a good job. Valeria, I want to give you a time to share great news, and I'm gonna pop a link into a chat as you share.
Yes.
Please.
All right. Yeah. So I'm actually very excited that I created a whole food plant-based online show, the Supercharged Plant-Based Lifestyle. So where I interviewed 27 great experts, the world-known experts, on the benefits of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. We talked with people who are actually doing the research. So there is a research. There are a lot of, so it's like, because it's so complex, I have a lot of people talking, like doctors talking about addiction, food addiction, some food demos. Actually, I have some food demos in there, which is like, it's pretty cool. Then I have an excited, she's like, that speaker, she's so interesting. She is talking about fat in our body and the science of it and how interesting it is when we're losing, what's happening in our body when we're losing or gaining weight and how it affects us. So yeah, I have great speakers that I can't wait to share with everyone. The show goes live on May 4th, which is a week from now. And yeah, so join us. Like, as I said, I really want my results for everyone. Everyone experience the power, and how I call, like with one of the speakers that I was talking to, actually it's Anthony Masiello, the person who actually created the plant-based telehealth. We were talking about like how you feel like it's a miracle, like you actually gain a superpower, like superpower, especially people who are like, he was so heavy, he was so big and heavy, and how right now he's like so thin and runs marathons. And every time when he was going on the scale, he was like, it cannot be happening. And that's exactly my thoughts were when I was like losing all this weight and losing all the health issues, like it cannot, like, can be real. Why is it kept a secret? Why it's not everywhere? Why it's not on television or everywhere, you know? So I want it to be more accessible, like for people, for more people. So that's why I'm putting the summit out, and it's gonna be a lot of people watching it too. And I would love your audience to watch it too. That's great. Yes.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Thank you very much for putting this all together. It's a hard work. I really appreciate you just spreading the word and gathering people together. Guys, I saw the list of speakers because I signed up, and I saw the list of speakers, and the speakers are amazing. And just to get a chance to talk to people like that and to ask the question is a big deal. So I encourage you to sign up and not to, to have this opportunity to learn from people who made it their mission in life, to spread the knowledge and word about staying healthy with whole food plant-based lifestyle. Thank you very much, Valeria, for joining me today. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your knowledge, for your energy. I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. And I want to appreciate all our listeners and everybody who's going to watch the recording. Thank you guys for being with us, for encouraging us to do what we do. And I really appreciate it. And you have an amazing Monday and end of the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.